We're going to read your questions and comments live and, of course, answer your phone calls. What's tearing you apart after watching tonight's episode of The Walking Dead? It might be Otis related. Tweet us at AMC Talking Dead. Email us your questions at talkingdead@amctv.com. Or pick up the phone and call us toll free at 1-855-332-3548. That's 1-855-DEAD-LIVE. You have to say it that way. Coming up later in the show, we're going to be talking with executive producer of The Walking Dead, Galen Hurd. But right now, we are joined by Zombie Authority's Felicia Day and John Heater. Thanks, guys. Nice whistle.
That was good.
All right, so let's talk about the major moments in tonight's episode. Obviously, the biggest moment is Shane hobbling Otis.
Really?
Yeah, I know, weird, right?
I thought the biggest moment was when Carol learned she doesn't know how to use a gun.
That was the biggest moment for feelings.
I thought it was Shane's man boob. That was so beautiful.
Dude, that guy, I mean, let's just talk about Bernthal for a second. The real guns were under the shirt the whole time. Like,
yeah.
that guy is...
He's well proportioned.
Now, do you think this was... We could talk about how hot Shane is for 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
But do you like me, Shane? Check yes or no. Did Otis have this coming because he shot Carl, or was it a survival thing?
I mean, if you're going to talk about karma, if that was karmatic, then somebody really messed up the world to cause a zombie apocalypse. So on a more global scale.
So because he has 2 bullets left in his gun, he uses one to shoot Otis. I don't know, John, what do you think?
Yeah, he had it coming because, I mean, he's fat. It's like, I'm sorry, but in a zombie apocalypse, that's not going to serve you well. I mean, it's one of those basic
He's
rules.
just trying to be pragmatic. I understand.
It's completely realistic.
I felt like it was not a bro move to shoot him like in the lower extremity. Like he should have shot him in the head, right? What's wrong with that?
Because you need live bait for the zombies, right?
Really? Have we proven that?
Well,
then you become gray matter and zombies don't eat that.
If he drops dead immediately, then he's got to be on the ground groaning.
It's like Carpaccio. It would be just fine.
Exactly.
He had to give him a second so he can explain why he shot him, but then he didn't do it.
Yeah, no. Shoot, I'm sorry.
So that was the worst move, not shooting him. But
Could this have been avoided? Do you think they should have just kept running?
I mean, I personally would have done a blueprint. I would have checked all the side doors. I mean, I'm a very big Left 4 Dead player, though, so I'm all about
Looking for the exit plan.
Exactly.
Park the truck way closer. Why did they park 2 miles away from the fence?
Are we in Mickey 4? Are we in the orange section?
They get to the bus and it's like, what?
So another big moment that we saw, I do want to know, by the way, when we see Shane, the thing that I think was so beautiful about this episode is it starts out Shane's in the mirror with his shaving his head, and you kind of go, did I miss something? Because last week, and then it bookends the episode. Is this Shane's taxi driver moment? Is this where he unhinges?
I mean, it was pretty good, especially when they panned. What?
Oh no, enough about the nipple pillows. I love him shaving his hair off because now it's like we know he's bad, right? He's evil.
But no, he's not evil. I mean, I don't think
he's slowly becoming unhinged. It's clear that he's slowly becoming unhinged.
He's adapting to a new moral compass in a world where there are no morals.
Well, yeah, because everything that's happening in the world really challenges. It's a very topsy-turvy, like what's right and wrong sort of thing.
Yeah, I know, definitely. I mean, listen, 200 years ago, thousands of people be killed in wars and influenza and stuff. I mean, it's a new world. They have to adapt to it. I mean, I don't think.
Yeah, shaved head, whatever. He's a baddie now.
I do kind of see him turning dark a little bit though, because it was just so rote the way he just went pop and then just grabbed his bag and beat him down.
Exactly. It was like, well, he could have. You didn't have to carry both those bags together. Otis could have carried that for you. I don't know why he got rid of an extra guy. I mean,
there was a little something more to it. Though. I think we actually have a caller. Do we have a caller on the line?
Yeah, hi there.
Hey, what's your name? Where you call from?
This is Jason calling from Alameda, California.
All right, Jason from Alameda. What's your question? You're on Talking Dead live.
How exciting. I've been about manscaping, but I think we've covered that.
We've covered manscaping.
Yeah. I was just wondering, now that they found the farm and they found some peace there, I'm wondering, do you think they resort to violence at this point so they could just stay there?
Do you think they do? What was your question now?
Resort to violence.
Oh, they resort to violence. Like
resort.
I think they would absolutely. Like, if you find one little haven and you feel like, listen, we got to kill to keep this. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't try to preserve that with a little bit of violence. We watched the chat on TalkingDead.com to find out what you guys are discussing on one of tonight's biggest topics. Of course, was the most shocking scene from the episode. Shane's running, sprained ankle. There's a herd of zombies, 2 bullets left, medical equipment, trying to save a child, overweight farmhand. He has a tough decision. So tonight's poll question is: if you were in Shane's position, what would you do? Would you take your chances running with Otis, or take the shot and kill Otis? Please don't be dicks, America. Go to TalkingDead.com to vote. What would you do?
I mean, it was a situation where it was obvious they didn't know where the car was, so that's one of the things. And I mean, it was inevitable. It just happened to be that Otis had the backpack, and he needed. I mean, to me, I feel like it's a hard decision, but it was going to end up that way inevitably.
All right, we're going to find out more about that in a second because we'll keep this discussion going. Executive producer Galen Hurd is with us here. She's going to have an exclusive clip from next week's Walking Dead and never before seen footage of how a zombie is created from special effects guru Greg Nicotero. But first, it's time to say goodbye to the Night's Fallen. Welcome back to Talking Dead. I'm Chris Hardwick, joined by the Guild creator Felicia Day and actor John Heater. So we just saw Otis turn into a snack bar. Basically, that face taffy scene.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was
Like a
insane.
fondue fountain. It was not good.
So this has got to be the most gruesome attack so far in the history of the show, right?
Yeah, in the whole long history of the show, absolutely. This season, definitely. No, I loved it, but I couldn't see it when I watched it first. I couldn't tell which body part it was. I thought it was like shoulder, rumble, or something like that.
Just a little bit. And I just last week said, oh my God, I love Taylor Vince. I'm glad he's going to be on the show. And then goodbye. Let's take some viewer questions really fast. If you were faced with the decision, this is actually, I'm going to go to that later actually. What would Rick do if Shane told him the truth about Otis?
I actually think that's going to be a really, really big scene because it's interesting because Rick's morality is so rigid and then Shane is changing, and it was for his own son. So like to me, that's a scene that I would look forward to.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Rick would do. I know Lori would be upset, but then she'd be pro.
Rick would put a 20 in his front pocket. He's like, I would have done the same thing, man. Good work.
But what I think is interesting about the show is that sooner or later, or at least the story, this universe, that sooner or later everyone changes emotionally. Like they almost become like emotional zombies, you guys, because they get so just ruined by everything that happens. And I think what is happening to Shane is almost foreshadowing of like, guys, this is going to happen to all of you.
Yeah. Well, you're in a world where you don't know you're going to survive at all. So I mean, obviously you have to adapt.
Yeah, I think what's cool is that you don't know. Like in a regular TV show, most likely the truth would come out later. But I think in this one, secrets can die with people very quickly, and I don't think they'll ever find out what truly happened to Otis.
I mean, that would be definitely a big moment in the show. But just the shaving the head and just kind of seeing the crazy guys. Do you think he's going crazy, or do you think he's just accepting what's going on? going on.
It could be a tipping point, but he has a support system, so it just depends. I mean, if he goes renegade and leaves, like he's been talking about, that could be where he goes completely bad. Like Mad Max.
I think that little mark on his head was like lice bites, and I think he was just trying to be hygienic.
I have a great question here from Facebook by Lori. There's a moment when Shane told us he wasn't going to make it. Notice said, "I ain't leaving you behind." Was that the moment Shane made his decision to shoot Otis, or do you think it was premeditated?
I think it had to be Plan B for him, but I mean, I would hope so.
It felt improvised to me.
Really?
I mean, like as for the actors improvising, like, I'm just going to shoot this guy. But I mean, like, but it felt like we're not going to make it, and then he just reacted.
Yeah, I mean, it really caught me by surprise. I didn't know, but he must have maybe at some point he was on board the whole time, and that seemed pretty shallow of him to just like, all right, I'm going to kill it. I think it had to have been.
He was acting a little
last
bit weird when he went up to after he got out of the gym and went up to that fence. He was acting a little bit unhinged there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we're going to keep the conversation going in a minute. But coming up, executive producer Galen Hurd with an exclusive clip from next week's The Walking Dead. Plus, we're going to go behind the scenes with special effects wizard Greg Nicotero. Don't forget to go to TalkingDead.com in order to vote in our poll. We'll be right back with more Talking Dead. I should keep going. So this way, I keep going with that. Now look back. Well, none of that was true. Next Sunday, there's a new Talking Dead Live. We're going to be at our new time, which is midnight right here on AMC, so check it out. We're back with Felicia Day and John Heater. So we just saw Shane completely, well, it's not that he lied, he just sort of trailed off. He just kind of like, and then this other, oh, I'm spent. Like, he didn't, really been through a lot.
I gotta go take a shower and shave my head.
Seriously. All this hair, it's hot, we're in Georgia. Really quickly, hero or villain, Shane?
Oh, Luchador.
Luchador. What do you think?
He's a hero villain.
He's a hero villain.
Anti-hero.
He's a villain.
He is.
Or a hero.
Right now, it's time to delve into the world of walkers. This is a really awesome clip. This is Greg Nicotero. He's going to show us the process behind creating the zombies for season 2. Check it out.
The first thing that I did when we wrapped last season was I sat down and wrote a do's and don'ts for season 2. We had 20 new sets of contact lenses made that are even more extreme than last year's. You're supposed to get the idea that as time progresses, the eyes continue to sort of cataract over. I was literally looking at photos of like rotted eggs and that kind of yellowish brown with little red veins in it. We sculpted a lot of new prosthetic pieces that accentuate the cheekbones, that accentuate the brow, and make the eyes appear more sunken in. And action! The pace of episodic television is really fast and furious. You have to have everything within 5 feet of you. We don't really have a lot of opportunity to do makeup. The person comes in the makeup chair and we sort of craft each makeup on the person. Jake, do you know where the spray glue is? On a big zombie day, you get it at 3. On an average zombie day, you get it at 5:30. You're ultimately covered in fake blood and you're sticky. You clean all the zombies up. You get home about 9 o'clock and you go to bed. I think by the time we're done, it'll be like Apocalypse Now or something. We'll all be a little screwed up in the head, maybe, who knows.
It's such a testament, honestly, like Nicotero's guy worked with Savini and Romero, and like that the makeup effects are so good that it's okay for the camera to get that close because it looks insane. So hats off to you, Greg Nicotero. Hopefully we get him on the show soon. But for now, it's time for the zombie kill of the night. What do we got? 20, huge, big numbers. Yay, humans. And here's our human kill count. 1, and it was brutal. But is it just 1? Because we don't know. Sophia's still out there, maybe in danger. We don't really know what's going on with Carl exactly. I mean, he seems to have stabilized, but who knows? Coming up, we reveal the results of tonight's poll. Plus, Galen Hurd is here with an exclusive clip from next week's episode of The Walking Dead. But first, let's take a break from talking about decomposing walkers to give you this week's fresh buzz. Check out the scene from tonight's episode with some fresh facts. All right, here with us now is the executive producer of The Walking Dead, Galen Hurd, a legend. Oh my God, it's so great. Thanks so much for being here. Tonight's episode, last week's episode was a little more like story drama, but this week, super paid off on zombie drama. The big choice that Shane had to make, what would you do, Gail? Would you run or do you shoot Otis?
Well, if you've seen my movies, Otis is a goner.
Is that really just he's got to survive? That's what he has to do?
Carl's life is in balance.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's probably religious. He believes in heaven.
Yep.
He's going to have a great life in heaven.
It's like freeing someone in the Matrix. Like, you're free now.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's find out what the audience said. I kind of want to see what America thinks. So if you were Shane Switch, what would you do? 61% say take your chances running with Otis. 39% said shoot him. Very heavily.
I'm in the minority.
It's all right, it's your show. You get to do that. So before we get a sneak peek of next week's episode, which you handpicked, by the way, so thank you very much. We are actually dying to ask you some questions. So tonight's turning point, this was definitely a turning point for Shane's arc. I mean, we're going to see a different Shane from now on. What can you tell us about his storyline coming up?
Well, Shane sees things in shades of gray. And he's able to walk that fine line where he justifies what he's doing because the world's changed. Mm-hmm. This is not the same world that when he woke up one day, the world had changed, and he's not going to be one of the dead people.
Right.
He's going to be a survivor.
And he also has very complex feelings. R.E. Lori and Carl.
Yeah. I bet in the back of his mind he thinks that he would be a better provider.
I'm getting that sense that he's got the stones to do what needs to be done.
I'm sure he probably thought Rick wouldn't pull the trigger.
Right.
Would Rick have been able to get this life-saving equipment back to Carl?
Not Rick this early on in the storyline of The Walking Dead. I think, but a later Rick maybe, but certainly not yet. What did Shane's head shaving represent?
Well, first of all, if you watch the episode again, you'll see that Otis doesn't want to die, and Otis has grabbed a chunk of Shane's hair, and he's actually pulled it out. So if you watch him, he's looking at his hair and he sees that
that's Shane's fingernail.
There's some hair missing.
Okay.
And so he's thinking, okay, if I shave it off, people won't notice.
So he's like, oh, I want to look pretty. So he just has to make sure he doesn't have a hole in his hair.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what he's thinking because it's the big guns and the.
I don't think so. I mean, there may be an element to that, Gail, but he had such crazy eyes looking in the mirror that it almost was like.
Well, he's also putting that behind him. He is emerging.
Was Otis's death like Shane's last kind of shred of humanity dying, and this is the rebirth kind of thing?
I think that Shane feels that he has the humanity that will keep the group alive.
Right.
And but you have to make decisions along the way that for the many. and you sacrifice the few.
So Andrea finally got that gun that she always wanted. What does that mean for her character? Dale finally saying, like, I'm sorry I did this, just please don't do anything crazy. What does this mean for Andrea now?
Andrea's decided she wants to be a survivor. She wants to go on, and if she does, she's going to be the best survivor out there. So she's got to make that decision. Does she want to throw in with the group and carry on, or does she, or is she still wishing that she lost it back in Jennerland at the CDC?
We got a great question online at TalkingDead.com from a viewer named Clint. Did anyone else think the farmhouse looked a lot like the farmhouse from the Savini Romero 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead? They're pretty similar.
There is similarity, but it's total coincidence.
It is, really?
It's absolute coincidence. We did an aerial search to find a farmhouse that had a great deal of property around it that was within an hour of Atlanta, and that's what we found.
Well, I'm being told that we need to jump to the clip really fast because we're live shows. Anything you want to tell us about this clip before we set it up?
Well, meanwhile, back at the farm, let's see what's going on with Len.
All right, here's an exclusive clip from next week's Walking Dead. What else? I'm sorry, that's the end of the show. Make sure to watch it. This is Talking Dead, like the Galen Hurd, at Better Dale, Felicia Day, at Felicia Day. Our new series is Dragon Age Redemption. Actor John Peter, at Peter John. Check out the